Welcome back, ladies and gents. Occurred to me, I never got a chance to do a review on the fifth trailer from Monster Hunter Wilds. We played the demo, we had fun, we hunted Raydal and all the monsters that were available, but I never got around to reviewing the fifth trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds. I had a couple of questions and theories when I initially saw it, but we're going to review it together, and in the video I'll bring up some topics and you can let me know what you think in the comments. But let's go ahead and check this out together.
Oh, is this it?
Welcome, travelers. I present you Azuz, the Everforge.
Now this is giving me a lot of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate vibes.
They're starting without us.
This looks a lot like the Forge in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. And my thing is, the monsters that I saw in this trailer really give me thoughts of a certain monster coming back into the Monster Hunter franchise. Well, at least in the newer generation. We got this sadistic looking, mosquito looking monster here. Which, this monster is probably going to be a pest. I can see it now. Fighting it in that oil, it's probably going to be a pest. And then you got Fire Rajang. Of course, they'll make a... It's not Rajang, but, obviously it's a gorilla beating on its chest, and it's pissed off all the time, so Fire Rajang.
We beckon the fire spring with our own hands.
I'm sure that guy's gonna be pretty fun. That's nice that you can use that attack. That you can use that environment to get some good damage too. That's pretty neat.
We never wanted this to happen.
No stopping it now. Not once it starts flowing.
And I guess doing all that draws out the apex. Kind of a Narcarcos type of monster. Never seen an octopus roar before, but maybe it does. It never had it outside the ocean. That's got to be instant death right there. That's got to be instant death. That thing grabs you and just opens this blowhole and just melts you in the face. It's got to be instant death. That's my guess, though. Yeah, we already enjoyed our open beta test. Hoping that another test comes up, like an updated version, closer to release, so we kind of know what we're getting. I doubt if they'll vary the monsters and if they release the demo again, but these three monsters, especially the Apex, look very... The Apex for sure looks pretty formidable.
No stopping it now. Not once it
And
starts
since it's, it's not really weak points anymore, you have to create wounds. It's going to be interesting. The strat's going to be very interesting now.
Why? This wasn't supposed to happen.
Because I think most people's issues in Monster Hunter who couldn't adapt was like, okay, how do I mount my strategy in order to attack the weak point directly as much as I can without getting just battered and beat up. But now in Wilds, you don't have to worry about that. You just have to make as many wounds as possible, exploit the wounds, and you met out a lot of damage. So it's a little more simpler. I hear a lot of people are into that versus a specific weak point to focus on. But I don't know, I'm still 50-50 on it. as far as weak point versus wounds. Still 50-50 on that. But, you know, I'll adapt. I'll adapt, as we all will. But this squid octopus looking monster is going to be very interesting as far as how to approach it. You know, is it, are you going to just have to target all the tentacles and then maybe, like, how do you even knock it down? That's like, what, there's 4 tentacles right there. And I think it's at least 2 more in the back. So, like, 6. That's 6 legs, basically. Like, how do you even knock it down? That's going to be interesting right there in itself. Maybe you have to get wounds on 2 of them, I guess, and then maybe that'll knock it down. I don't know. But this leads me to believe with the whole oily region and the fire, you know, following up with that and looking at the apex of the region, it leads me to think that Gagmazios will, I think it's Gagmazios. I think that's how you say it, Gagmazios. Let me just make sure I don't butcher its name. You know, everybody just calls it Gog, but I just don't want to butcher the name. Have people in the comments correcting me. It's Gog. It's Gagmazios. It's Gagmazios. Yes, Gagmazios. This leads me to think that Gagmazios will be in Wilds. A lot of 4U similarities around these monsters with the oil and the oil being able to explode. Leads me to believe Gagmazios has some involvement in this area, and at some point will probably reawaken. I don't think it's going to be in the initial game. I think Gog will be like a fatalist type monster, in my opinion. So when the expansion comes, and there will be an expansion, as we've seen in the past 2 games, the initial game releases and then an expansion follows suit for G rank and, you know, true end game and everything like that. So we can expect an expansion at some point. And I feel Gagmazios will return just based on how everything's set up in this particular area. And I'm excited for that because I did fight Gog in 4U, sold it. Oddly enough, I wasn't even good at Charge Blade the first time I beat it, but that was the initial weapon that I used to beat Gog. So I have a feeling that, well, I probably won't use Charge Blade, but yeah, I'm excited for its return, and hopefully it's as brutal as it was in 4 Ultimate, where people had a hard time taking it down, especially solo. So I soloed all of 4U, you know. I had the little, what was that, 3DS? I think it was a 3DS. Had that, and, you know, just went through 4U. The Apex monsters in 4U were pretty challenging because you needed the device in order to do damage to them, and you had to do enough damage to knock them out. Kind of like the afflicted monsters in Sunbreak, but a lot more brutal. Because if you didn't get it in time, you were just out of luck until it recharged. So, yeah, maybe it'll bring back something like that as far as the in-game monsters. You know, each Monster Hunter has of late had its version of, you know, more powerful monsters, more harder monsters, more challenging monsters. Usually when you get towards the end game, so you can get better weapons, better gear, stuff like that. So maybe they'll bring back that form of Apex monster and maybe call it something different. I don't know. I mean, afflicted monsters were challenging based on the amount of health they had, but they kind of were balanced out because you could get your health back if you got hit by them. So they kind of, weren't as brutal as they could be, as they could have been. They kind of let us off the hook in Sunbreak as far as the end game content. Yes, afflicted monsters hurt, but if you can survive a hit, you can get your health back and not even have to worry about healing. So, but yeah, hopefully God comes back. A lot of people have been hoping for God to return, as well as Crimson Fatalists and White Fatalists. Those two lovely creatures, they should make a return as well. Should just have a whole Fatalist family in this game. And Cantor and Ukanlos should make a return as well, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a tundra region at some point. There has to be at this point. And Wilds, and why not have Ukanlos and the Cantor in Wilds as well? Those will be interesting fights, especially since we won't have a designated weak point for them in Wilds. So, we'll see. The trailer was great. I love all the new monsters that, we're expecting to, see in this area. And I'm sure they're going to be challenging. Hopefully they provide great gear. I still think this area is probably going to be, it's probably going to cause a lot of rage quit, this area right here. I think this monster might as well. Or maybe the fire regime will be like a wall for people. This area just looks toxic. No pun intended. But all the monsters look great. I like that they showed us mainly newer monsters coming to Wilds, as opposed to the ones we already know. So that's what makes this exciting. And I hope that a lot of people, buy and play Wild, so we have a nice time for multiplayer, even though initially I'll most likely be, soloing everything, because I just have to do that as a content creator. And I like to, formulate my own strategies against monsters, so I can see, how I can get the best times based on strategy and whatnot. So we're just gonna have to see when Wilds gets here in February, basically March. I mean, February 28th. It's gotta basically March. But hopefully they, give us a demo. Yeah, hopefully they give us a demo so we can, see if our weapons, our main weapons, have improved, and try to get more depth at the game and everything. The dual weapon wielding. I know a lot of people are going to probably use a bow gun or bow, just something that can just put a buff on real quick, so they won't have to, waste demon drugs or stuff like that. Just have a nice buff before you get to the monster. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of that, or hunting horns. But the bow guns are easier. I've seen somebody on a sacred load up attack boost shelling, hit the ground while they were on the mount, and that gave them the buff. So it's probably gonna be a lot of that in Wilds. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Gagmazios is coming back? Which monsters do you think is coming back to Monster Hunter Wilds? I did not look at the leaked info for the monsters that are coming to Wilds, because I think that is kind of lame. Why not be surprised, see what's coming? But, I know some people like spoilers. I'm not one of those people. But hope you enjoyed the video and my review on the 5th trailer. Finally, trying to catch back up on my YouTube content. It's been a lot going on, and I've been needing to rest here and there. But I know YouTube content creation, you know, there's like no rest, but you have to rest or otherwise you're going to go insane. But that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Do the proper thing. Like, share, subscribe. Tune into future videos, and I will see you then. Peace.